Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Lucid's Tournament Game 7, where we are playing Helheim. This is turn 50. Let's jump into things. So, we have completed Construction 5. We have done a couple of different things, right? We've done a reanimation. We've got an Auspex that has found a Canyon of Wild Winds. That's fantastic. Canyon of Wild Winds is a 2 air gem site. So, basically, discovering this Canyon of Wild Winds means that we are paying for Auspex for the rest of however long we want to pay for Auspex. So that's really cool. We've done some Corpsemen construction. We have done some Dark Knowledge, found nothing. Reanimation, Twiceborn on our Hangedrotning Haruspex, finding nothing. Another Augury, which did find nothing. Gnome Lore, which found a Deep Crevasse, which is a +1 Earth Gem, and a Statue of the Sitting God, which is a really cool site. It's a +1 Astral, as well as an Enchantment boost. So we'll take a look at that here in a little bit. And then another Gnome Lore that found nothing. So as a heads up, I'm a little sniffly. Got some, burning, itchy, watery eyes, those types of things, you know. I may be a little under the weather at the moment. I apologize in advance. We've done some blood hunting, and we've gotten a fair number of blood sacrifices between Ormond and Tiny Willow. That's really good for us, and then we get to witness a battle in Blue Moss. So, Helheim is attacking Tirnanog and taking back their land, which is cool. It's interesting. It's a really interesting alteration in the game. They've got some Clockwork Soldiers, which are cool. They've got a couple of Graphite Warriors, a little buffer over here, a little fluffer, Earth 3, and then Azarel, the son of Semyaza, which I believe to be a national hero for them. This guy is super strong, very high stats, very cool. And he's kitted out pretty fiercely. But the thing about him is he doesn't have the craziest paths for buffing, for like thugging or being a super combatant or anything like that. So, somewhat interesting, but he's pretty cool. We get Strength of Giants, we get some personal regeneration, and then some actual regeneration. We get Legions of Steel coming out. But none of that really matters. The Clockwork Soldiers are going to kill the small amount of PD that is there before anything else happens. But if the fight were to last, then we'd be taking on the majority of it. And that's cool. Alright, we've got an unexpected event in Osens. We've got a handful of magic gems, so some earth gems, very cool. We have discovered, again, more of these heretics in Ancient Woods. We're continuing to patrol them out. That's good, although it is a bit of a pain in the ass. There's nothing, very, very much nothing special about this fight, so we did some more patrolling. So, what are we doing this turn? It's turn 50. We've got 3 more turns of peace with Calum. It is very possible, right, that we have got ourselves into a situation where we just bought ourselves 6 turns of peace, and then Calum's immediately going to attack us again. I don't know that that's going to happen. It might, but I don't know that that's going to happen. I think, looking at the current state of a lot of the other nations in the game, I think it is a mistake that we are allowing Calum the opportunity to set themselves up. But it kind of is what it is, you know? So, with that being said, we're not in the worst state here. Obviously, Helheim is in kind of a bad state, and Moria is not in a great state. But Abyssia is also not in a great state. And Tirnanog actually isn't in the best situation because of the rebellion from Hinnom, because of the war with Abyssia, because of failing against Helheim, etc. So we kind of find ourselves in an interesting world board where if we can, miraculously, catch up research-wise and economy-wise, we might actually be able to affect the end of this game. But we're gonna have to see how that goes. So a couple of things that we are going to be doing, specifically, we're starting up the blood hunting in Sanafe. We're actually going to be sending another 2 blood hunters there. So we will have 5 in Tiny Willow, 5 in Orman, and 5 in Sanafe. We are sending patrollers out to Orman. So we're going to have patrollers go out with King 9. We're going to pick up some units here and actually patrol with those units. We're also sending, we've got some patrollers in Sanafe already, but they're not going to be enough to keep a good lid on this. They've only got a patrol strength of 1.1. So that's going to be somewhat of an issue. But we are continuing to cast reanimation. We're continuing to cast corpse construction. We do get, it should be noted, we do get 6 corpse constructs per casting. And those are 1.1 patrol strength, so very good patrollers in that type of scenario. I mean, they don't have a bonus or that, but as far as efficiency goes, like cost for them, super cheap. We are sending Dis 3 up to Saramatia in order to start doing corpse construction there as well. We are continuing to patrol out Ancient Woods because we're still not done with that event. And for the most part, we're about to talk about all of these gray arrows, but for the most part, that's it for the turn, right? We're continuing to site search, remote site search with Gnome Lore, Augury, Haru Specs, Dark Knowledge, Auspecs, etc., right? We're continuing to site search with all those things. We will not be done with Construction 6 this turn, but we will be done with Construction 6 next turn. And then we're gonna do a quick pop-up conjuration, and then so like the other big thing that we've got going on, we're also forging a couple of new things now. By the way, we're continuing to do the things that we have been doing, forging storm spools, forging frost brands, but we're actually starting to mix in some dragon helmets, some boots of the messenger. We're going to be mixing in some, not supposed to be slave collar. Absolutely. Collar. That's supposed to be. Is that supposed to be a flesh eater? Cheater. Cheater. We're mixing in some flesh eaters. We're mixing in some black steel helmets, etc., right? Just trying to give us some more diversified gear in order to outfit things like Ice Devils or Arch Devils or Heliophagi when they come out, etc., etc., right? So we're trying to stay on top of those as options. And then, as you can see with all of these arrows, we are moving towards Devaros. So we are bringing we're bringing together most of our Hellheardings, both from Helheim, from Saramatia, and from Kohnberg. We're also bringing in our 2 Ice Devils, Semejes and Oriax. I probably should have actually been having Semejes do summon allies this entire time rather than worrying about his research ability, because at this point we would have, what, 2 or 3 Frost Fiends, which would be cool, right? If we can get, you know, if he's idle, then summoning Frost Fiends is, I think, probably more interesting than just researching. So we'll have to try to remember doing that in the future. But we're bringing this all together, and it's going to be about... what is that? That's about 100 or so Hellheardings. Maybe a bit more. Yeah, it's about 100 Hell Heritings or so. Along with the 2 Ice Devils, we're going to be bringing in Gerskogul as well. So we're moving them into locations around Defaros, and we're probably going to hit Defaros next turn. So we want to control the nearby territory, the throne specifically. Take a look at the thrones. There are a couple thrones that would actually be really good for us to get. Reinvigoration would actually be fantastic for us to get. The inner throne would actually be fine for us to get. Even though we already have order, right? It's the scenario of gaining dominion spread would be good, because right now our dominion is actually kind of meh. We do not have very many temples up here, so we got a strong dominion in our core lands, right? But we do not in Saramatia, so having a throne is going to help that. Part of the reason why we don't have a good dominion spread up here is because we don't have anything. We don't have a temple up there, but I don't really plan on putting anything up in the truth be told. So Throne of Water would actually be amazing for us. Not that we care necessarily about the Hydromancer, although it is a 3 water mage, so we could use it. But the main focus here being the +3 defensive skill just synergizes with us extremely well. And then the Throne of Gaia would actually probably be one of the worst ones for us to get, just because Growth 2 does... I mean, I guess it's along the same lines as the Inner Throne, right? But, you know, kind of whatever. Throne of Bureaucracy is... It sucks to lose the 100 gold, but it's actually a crazy amount of Dominion spread. It's pretty good. All right, anyways, so that's going to be the main focus, right? We're going to try to hit Defaros next turn. And so we're like, that's a lot. That's only 100 Hell Heritings. We're probably going to send our Jade Maidens in as well, right? But that's 100 Hell Heritings and not a lot of reinforcements necessarily, right? So it turns into the situation of like, is that going to be enough? Well, you got to also keep in mind what's going on here. This is mostly fire snakes and scorpion beasts, will-o-wisps, and horned serpents. So the horned serpents they're very, very bad in combat. They're basically just sacks of hit points. The will-o-wisps are annoying. The archers could somewhat be annoying. The fire snakes are going to be partially mitigated by the fact that we will have Storm up because of Gerskogul. And also because of the fact that our Bless has built-in fire. So, and then the Scorpion Beasts are somewhat dangerous, right? But you got to keep in mind our Hell Heritings are very... they've got good stats, right? They've got very high defense skill, etc., etc. So I do think that we will be okay. I think this will be a little bit of a precarious fight at the start, and then we'll cut down enough fire snakes and horned serpents and scorpion beasts to kind of just HP route. The question mark, the big question mark, is the huge solar serpent, right? And whether or not that thing actually like casts some big battlefield enchantment or what have you, but. At this point, honestly, I'm a little bit bored. Oh, also, I mean, we're gonna have our ice devils in here as well. So, you know, there is I'm considering this. I don't know that I'm actually gonna. If we take a look, they have the ability to do things like Quagmire, right? Which can kind of screw things over. And the reason why I pointed out, right, is because we don't have swamp survival either, but -1 attack and -1 defense and -20 combat speed is not nearly as big of a deal to us as it probably is going to someone, right? So that's actually somewhat acceptable for us. But then we also have I guess it was just like the concept of doing ice elementals, but probably wouldn't need that. And I considered not bringing in Gerskogel because I considered doing some flying. So in that case, we might have just done rain, but I don't think that's gonna really be necessary either. I think we'll just go in and start swinging. We'll probably just buff up with Oriax and some edges, just cut people down. It should be pretty cool. Yeah, I think that's mostly it for the turn. We are producing a lot now. We're gonna have to start watching out for our gem income. We're kind of at that point where I feel safe enough to just start burning through gems in the effort of getting us to the late game, right? Or a late mid game, early late game, that type of scenario. But we might turn into a situation where, you know, like I said, Caleb might just go, oh well, truce is up, boom, right? There's a massive stack of spire horns and who knows, right? That could definitely be a problem. And if they come in like that, that is another reason why I'm kind of launching this attack now, because so next turn it'll be 51, and the following turn it'll be 52, right? It hopefully a victory and a big issue. Then on 53, our forces are heading back to locations to hold up, right? In the meantime, we're continuing to recruit, or we're trying to set up scenarios where we are producing a lot of chaff, that type of situation. So we are, yeah, I think that's the end of the turn. I don't know if there's anything to be done about Caleb at this point. The honest to goodness, I think if Tirnanog and Fomoriya had stayed in, I think we would have beaten. We would have bested Caleb. And it would have ended up being a scenario where all of us came away being significantly stronger than we were now. And it would be a pretty big fight from then on to see like what happens for the rest of the game. But because Tirnanog saw an opportunity to, I think, bowl over Abyssia and then take their thrones, right? Because they couched it as a, Abyssia is going to win the game. But I don't know that Abyssia was ever that close to actually winning the game. I think it might have been more of an opportunity that they saw like, I could win the game. But I could be wrong on that. Regardless, though, that has not worked out. So now Tirnanog is in a weakened state. Abyssia is in a weakened state. Hinnom is back in the game, but in a weakened state. And that left Fomoriya and I. Actually, I don't know. Technically, I don't know which one of them left first. But Fomoriya also basically was like, oh, I'm getting crushed. I gotta peace out, right? Whereas they probably could have just held for a while and then started to recoup their losses. But as it is, I think now Caleb is probably going to have the time to out-research and outbuild all of us. And then they're just going to walk into the late game and kind of probably going to waltz over everyone. I say that. They might not actually need to wait until the late game. So they only have one throne, I believe. Yeah, the Throne of Fortune, which I believe is this throne right here. But they are so positioned for other thrones. They're right next to Great Woods. They're right next to Caves, or Saren Forest rather, Caves of Madness, Dershid, Beaver Fens, right? That's 5 right there. They could very easily get in range of Ossuary. They could very easily push over to something like Yellow Caves. They've been over there before, right? I think Calum's probably going to bide their time for another 10 turns or so. Build up and then crush someone. And then at that point, I don't know that there's gonna be a chance to stop them. So, but right, we're not throwing in the towel or anything like that. If I think there is a chance to stop them, I think that chance exists in high-level thugs and super combatants that we gain from blood and high construction. So that is the goal. Fingers crossed. Next time. Bye, everybody. Oh, by the way, like the fucking. So we're recruiting our scouts. I should have done this in the last turn. I really was not paying enough attention. But we're recruiting our scouts to ferry out to Orman and Sanafe, so that we can do the daisy chain constantly, bringing blood sacrifices back, etc. That will at least for now answer that situation. Again, I do not like the long run. I don't like relying on scouts because that means you have to wait a turn for what you've blood hunted to be available, and that's that can be a pain in the ass. Like right now, we have enough for another ice double, but we can't do it because we don't have access to. We might end up over the course of the next few turns. We might end up just dumping gold into labs in Sanafe and Orman just for convenience. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. I will see you. Bye, everybody.